This is Small Secrets, Big Rewards, ATC tip number 6, stress management. Give yourself to the dark side. It's the only way to save your friends. Darth Vader. Drawn to the dark side. We're indoctrinated to the idea that the sacrifice of self is the most noble act we can commit. In certain situations, like the defense of another, taking a stand for the betterment of society, etc., that can be true. But in most of the situations each of us will encounter in our daily lives, it's a grotesque falsehood. How can a parent raise a child that has not only respect for his or herself, but for others too, if the parent never shows respect for themselves or their needs? The denial of your own needs as a human being in order to satisfy the sacrificial requirement of being a parent frequently leaves people burnt out and desperate. It also teaches, in particular, your female children that their needs don't matter when pitted up against someone else's. Though it's a strong message, it is not the right one. There is, of course, also a dark side to self-care. It can degenerate into hedonism and the far too prevalent "hooray for me, to hell with you" attitude that we see everywhere, from the political arena to public venues. The media doesn't help. Avoiding the dark side is as simple and as difficult as finding and maintaining balance. When you care for, nurture, and honor yourself, you set the example for your friends and family that they are worthy of granting themselves the same respect. When your friends and family are competent in tending their own needs, then the capacity and ability to nurture each other becomes a joy instead of a duty. Fear and doubt. These two conditions are the anchors of the dark side. Their aim is to weigh down the lofty ambitions we have for ourselves and to keep us grounded in reality. Both of these conditions are spawned from outside of us and internalized frequently before we take our first steps. The internalization of the doubts and fears of others follows us and is reinforced all throughout our lives by teachers, parents, siblings, and well-meaning friends who don't want you to get hurt. Have you ever seen a child reach for something on a hot stove only to have him or her have their hand slapped away, only so they can try it again and get slapped away again? There was a time when the parent would let the child get near enough to feel the heat. Then the child would have learned not to touch or to be extremely careful. Nowadays, that kind of parenting is a rare thing. Children are no longer encouraged to learn. They're fed answers rather than taught how to find them. Much of this is due to the fear that the child may be held back, or the doubt that they are capable of learning, or learning how to learn. For parents, there's also the fear and doubt combined that their child or children will be left behind or won't be able to keep up with Susie or Billy or any of the other Joneses. The fear that if kids are given a chance to be children and to learn according to their own strengths and in their own time, that they'll miss out on opportunities, that's the parents' fear. So instead of appreciating the child for who they are, they're frequently pushed, prodded, and medicated into a Stepford oblivion in order to force them to conform to parameters that were dictated by someone else. If this sounds familiar, you're starting to recognize the program. Every one of us needs to decide whether or not we're willing to perpetuate this program. Do you want something truly, organically, holistically better for your children, or will the status quo do? These same questions can and should be asked of each of us with regards to what we want for ourselves. The only time it's too late to change is when we're 6 feet under. Hope and faith. These are the flip side of fear and doubt. They require a literal shift in focus from the potential negatives of their antitheses to the potential positive outcomes you're able to visualize or imagine by becoming the person you were meant to be. These are the core qualities of your life's story's hero. When a negative impulse or thought comes to mind, it must intentionally be countered with positivity born of hope and faith. In time, that negative impulse, like the playground bully who you stood up to all those years ago, will learn it has no place in your life and it will cease to be. It ain't always easy, but it's always worthwhile. This has been Small Secrets, Big Rewards, ATC tip number 6. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to distribute any of the resource information in the description below. And please do like and subscribe. We'll see you soon with Chapter 7. Till then, keep hoping.